Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Callum Sanderson. How are you, my friend?
Not too bad. I am really looking forward to this card. Not just the main card. We were speaking before we did this. Every fight on this is tasty. Like from the early prelims right up until the main card, main event. Well done, UFC. Well done.
You're stacking up the big cards, and it usually means when me and Callum do a preview, usually means there's a big UFC event around the corner,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. UFC 276 in, is it in T-Mobile Arena?
Yeah. International Fight Week.
International Fight Week as well. That's why the card is super stacked. It's International Fight Week.
The stat.
We're going to get loads of finishes as well. That's what I'm hoping. Loads of finishes. Headlined by Adesanya versus Cannonier. Finally, a fresh opponent for Izzy. There's not a rematch. And obviously, in the co-main event, can Max Holloway be the first UFC fighter to start a trilogy 2-0 down and actually win the third fight? Or is he going to join a very exclusive club of losing a trilogy 3-0? And also on the card, we've got Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira and Pedro Munoz versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. And I think we've got Robbie Lawlor kicking off the main card with Brian, is it?
Barberena.
Brian Barberena. Let's start. You know what? Yeah, let's start with the top of the card. Let's start with the main event.
Juicy.
The champ Stylebender versus Cannonier. And geez, this is such an exciting fight. I cannot wait for this fight.
So this fight, all right. I think Izzy will win. But the notion everyone has is that if I feel as though everyone's overlooking Cannonier, which I think is extremely dangerous. I don't think Izzy's overlooking Cannonier. I think the majority of the public and fans are. And I think that's because they've seen Cannonier lose to Whitaker and they saw him get dropped by Derek Brunson. Yeah. Izzy's a different fighter from those. And surely by now we realize MMA maths doesn't work. It's just, It does not work. It's impossible because of the different styles. There's so many different styles. That being said, we've seen times where Izzy's made it look easy.
Costa.
But we've also seen times where he's been hesitant to get into a firefight, like the Romero fight.
Yeah,
I think it's got to be an in-between for Cannonier. And I think Cannonier is a man that is not going to be fearing Adesanya. He's not going to be caught in the matrix, as it were, with his movement, his striking, his shot selection. I think Cannonier is going to go out and I think he's going to try and wrestle him for the first round or two. And then I think he's going to use that to try and disguise his punching and his awkward techniques and his striking. I do see Izzy winning. I see it going to the scorecard. I see Izzy winning, but I would not be surprised if Izzy gets knocked down and has to go through a lot of adversity in this fight.
Ooh. Yeah, so I sort of agree with you. I think this fight will be the fight that we thought that we were going to get with Costa versus Adesanya. I do think, that Cannonier versus Brunson fight, that was a really tough round for Cannonier because he got taken down, got held down, and then the second round he quite literally bounced Brunson's head off the canvas like a basketball, and that was some brutal knockout. So
that's hard
Cannonier
to watch.
Does have that knockout power, but the keys for Izzy is if you look at the way he did the Costa fight, the legs, chopped down at those legs like he did Costa. Because if you saw Costa's lead leg in that fight, that was that was messed up.
But on the leg kicks, bro, Cannonier throws horrid leg kicks, brutal leg kicks.
I think it's going to be a bit of a chess match, I think, but not as bad as Romero Adesanya, because that was a horrible watch.
Yeah,
horrible watch. But I do think that it's going to be tactical. Cannonier shooting for the takedown and the wrestling. That will not surprise me whatsoever. I think everyone has done it against Izzy in pretty much every fight, but it's not shooting the takedown; it's actually holding him down when you get the takedown. Because
only Blachowicz been able to do it.
Yeah, and that's at a completely different weight class with at least 30, 40 pounds on him on fight night. And yet again, Cannonier, former heavyweight, even though he's going to weigh in at 185, he's probably going to weigh in at around over 200 pounds on fight night. So he's definitely going to have to. I wouldn't say he's going to have the reach advantage because I think Izzy's got the longest reach at middleweight with, I think it was 80-inch reach.
80 inches, yeah.
But I think Cannonier's got the weight difference on fight night. I think Izzy walks around naturally at about 193.
Yeah.
Cannonier's going to be way over 200 pounds.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's probably, if Izzy can get through the first 2 rounds and neutralize that wrestling, then I think Izzy will. I'll probably go the sensible bet is probably go Izzy on the scorecards, but it would not surprise me if he does put Cannonier in the matrix and finishes him, because he says that he's looking for something spectacular, and I feel like as us fans, we're sort of like we're wanting that viral knockout moment, because the last knockout was Costa on Fight Island in front of no crowds, and I think he knows that he needs a knockout because I think his last 2 wins are by decision.
But that's where I think he's going to end up getting into situation, because I think you can't go into looking for viral knockout or even go into a knockout against Cannonier. You've got to fight the fight, because Cannonier can absorb punishment, but he can also really dish it out.
Yeah, 100%. But I do, I know like you won't always think, oh, I need the knockout. But I think it's going to play on him a little bit, because obviously he pays attention to what happens online. He probably sees what people read after the fight, like the Whittaker fight. People have probably gone, yeah, Izzy looked great, but didn't look particularly great.
Yeah,
could have argued Whittaker. We want a Whittaker Adesanya trilogy, which personally I don't want, because that's done. That chapter's fully closed.
For me, it's done as well.
But it is a tough one. And plus, I do think we could see the best of Izzy, because this is a fresh opponent. This is fresh meat for him. And it's something that he's been clamoring for quite a while, someone else to step up. And I think we could see either the best of him, or we could see someone that's got his eye on another fight down the line. But when you look at the fights down the line at middleweight, it's sort of like he's running out of dance partners.
Yeah.
Without thinking, is he going to invite anyone up, or is he going to go and jump up himself?
I don't think he's running out of dance partners, because as we said before, Pereira, Strickland on this card, Darren Till still about, Hamzat could come back up to the weight division.
Yeah.
I don't think he's short of dance partners, but what we need to see is these dance partners are able to put their name forward to Dana and the brass there and be like, look, I deserve the title shot. So I don't think he's short of people. I think it's just a case of, I mean, Rockhold Costa as well. If Rockhold goes and beats Costa, it's another fight.
Yeah, another great fight. And if Costa picks up the win, would I be clamoring to see Costa Adesanya too? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, we know.
But you possibly could see that down the line. And I think Izzy's desperate. He wants to chase that Anderson Silva record at middleweight. So he's going to be hunting down opponents. So I'm going with Izzy going to go by decision. I'm probably going to go 4 rounds to 1.
I'm going Izzy decision 3 rounds to 2.
Is it going to be is it going to be a one where you go, oh, is he lucky to still hold on?
I think Cannonier wins the first round. I think Izzy wins the second. Cannonier wins the third, and Izzy pulls away in the 4th and 5th.
Yeah. I do think championship rounds, Izzy's going to just have that cardio, that gas tank. His cardio is insane, especially at middleweight. Like, he's a cardio machine.
He is.
Speaking of cardio machines, the co-main event, the featherweight title, the trilogy, the end of this chapter is finally upon us. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 3. The pound for pound best in their division. We're finally going to get a conclusive end to this, some would say, controversial
We hope it's going to be
rivalry.
a
We
conclusive
hope
end.
we get an end, because I've got a feeling if a certain person regains that belt, I feel like we're going to do this dance all over again.
We might have a five fight series here.
Yeah, definitely.
I love Holloway. I do like Volkanovski as well, but Holloway is like one of my favorite fighters. That being said, I think Holloway has been through some wars. He takes a lot of punishment. He's a zombie. He does walk through it and come through it. But you said it before we came on here. We can think of so many different fighters who've had quote unquote iron chins. Once that chin gets tested, it's never the same again.
Once the chin fails, the chin never recovers.
Never recovers. Therefore, for this fight, I think I'm going to go for a Volkanovski third round stoppage. I think Volkanovski is going to really, really come out at Max. I think Max will do well in the first round. Second and third, I think he'll start to get hit. And third round, I think Volkanovski stops him via strikes.
Oh,
I know. Heartbreaking to say. And I like Volkanovski a lot. I think he's a brilliant champion.
Oh, yeah,
Max is just my guy, but I can't see him winning.
Oh, I know. I love Volkanovski. I think he's hilarious. A great fight, phenomenal fighter. That Australian rugby league grit. It's like, forget your Dagestani wrestling, forget your jiu-jitsu, your samba wrestling, your boxing. It's that rugby league grit, that never say die attitude. And I'm sort of with you as well. I don't think he finishes him, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does finish him. But I do feel like we're going to get a definitive decision win. There's going to be no split decision rubbish. I think it's going to be a great fight. I do think we're not going to see anything different to what we've seen before. I know Max said like he doesn't think it's going to go 3 rounds. He thinks he's going to get him out there in 2. I think he said he'd want to get out there in 3. But I don't see that happening. But I do think it will be Volkanovski by decision. And again, like, you think about what happens to Max, like, if he loses like this trilogy, like, is he going to jump up to lightweight? Like, would you say, well, hey, you fancy dropping down? I don't think he could drop down.
I don't think he can make 35.
No, but like, you're thinking, is he going to go up to?
No, I think
he's a big featherweight. He walks around 195.
I think Max becomes a gatekeeper for the division, or becomes the number 1 guy and will get the title back if Volk leaves the division to 55, for example. I can't see how. I'd love to be proven right. I can't see how he beats Volk this time. I think last fight, no, that was his best opportunity to beat him, but for me, he beat him, but he just didn't get the decision. Him going up to 55. I mean, the Oliveira fight's there because he beat Oliveira, but that was under weird circumstances. If I'm not mistaken, Oliveira like tore his esophagus or something like that.
Yeah.
Gaethje's a nice fight, but Gaethje hits hard and hits often. Chandler's there's not fights I wouldn't enjoy seeing him in. It's just I don't know how well they end for him personally.
I don't think they end very well. And you look at 55, you're thinking McGregor rematch? 55?
Conor won't take it.
Yeah, no, Conor won't take it. I think Holloway said he wouldn't surprise him if McGregor never returned.
Yeah.
But you look at those fights at 55 and you're probably going Ferguson, Holloway.
Yeah.
Gaethje, I'd say Poirier 3, but I don't want to see that again.
Masvidal.
For Masvidal at 55 or Masvidal at 70?
70.
Ooh. Yeah, well, it depends on the weight cut, really. How much does he want to cut? And like Holloway's not even 30 yet. which is crazy. He's been in the UFC for that long, but
forever.
He's in that real big predicament because he can't stay around that featherweight. Because if he stays around that featherweight, people are going to say, I want to see Volk 4 and Volk 5 and Volk 6.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want, like, after this, I do not want to see them fight again for a long time.
Yeah, same.
But like he sort of snookered
unless Max wins. Because if Max wins, then
we're going to see a fourth. The door. Because it's only right that if he gives him another crack, could be a bit of a shit thing to do.
But at the same time, does Volk have to go and beat a guy or two to lay a claim again to be like, I'm number one contender, give my title shot? I don't think he gets an automatic rematch.
No.
Depending on how it ends, obviously.
Yeah, it depends on how it ends, and like for Volkanovski, like if he wins, like what's the plan with him? Does he stick around at featherweight? Which I think he will stick around at featherweight. However, he did mention double champ status, as well. And Dana got asked about it as well, and Dana was like, "Hey, whatever Volk wants, if he wants to jump up for 55 and challenge Oliveira, then Dana won't say no." And we know what Dana's like about double champs.
Yeah,
doesn't particularly like the idea of it, but the fact that he was so open to it, it's made me feel like that. I want to see that.
Let me ask you a question.
Sorry, Islam, but yeah.
If Islam, for example, beats Oliveira, do you think Volkanovski still goes up to fight Islam? I don't think he does. And this is what I mean. I think a lot of fighters feel as though Oliveira is someone they can beat until they're standing across from him in the octagon.
Yeah, because they feel like they can hit him and then it drops him. And it's like, oh, yes, we might get him. But the second you go down round with Oliveira, snatches that neck and it's a good night, Vienna. But yeah, like I'm not against like Volkanovski wins. Like I'm not against seeing him Oliveira for champ, and I don't think like let's say Volkanovski beat Oliveira. I don't see him be like McGregor where he goes, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah,
I think he would actively defend the belt at both divisions as well. I don't think he'd hold either one up, which would be great because I'd actually want to see a consistent men's double champ defend across two divisions.
No one's done it. Apart from Amanda Nunes, but again, not in the men's division, obviously.
Yeah, and John Jones, no, not John Jones, DC sort of did it at light heavy, but didn't actively defend both belts simultaneously. So predictions for this fight? Cal? We're both going with the Volk.
Yeah, I'm going for a third round stoppage for Volk. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say I love Max, but third round stoppage for Volk.
Yeah, I'm going decision because I can't bring myself to say that he could get slept.
I love Max, man. He's my guy. But
this could be like his Gaethje Tony moment where like the chin won too many wars. And the thing is, like
that Yair fight, goodness me.
You're probably thinking like, oh, how much damage has he actually done? But like you listen to him speak, man. Like he's like that his head is a bit slurred. It's a bit like Stipe Miocic. Like you can't really piece his words together properly, which is very worrying for someone who's not even in his 30s yet.
Agreed.
Right, so moving on to some people say the people's main event because people like to call the people's main event before the title fight. Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. Sean Strickland, last time out, he beat Jack Hermansson at the Apex.
Very lackluster performance, though.
I recommend you don't watch the fight.
Terrible fight. Terrible. Between both of them, terrible.
Horrible fight. Horrible. And you got Alex Pereira coming off a good win against, I'm trying to think who it was. It was a Brazilian.
Bruno I can't remember the name, but the fight before that, he scored obviously the amazing
up the middle.
Jumping knee.
Yeah, Pereira last fight, Bruno Silva at the Apex as well on that same card. Bruno Silva tried to do a lot of wrestling, but Pereira You've got that Adesanya level takedown defense.
Or the ability to bounce back.
Yeah. Sort of helps when you've got he did have the UFC light heavyweight champion in his corner that fight, but he will have Gloria Teixeira in his corner for this fight coming up. And I said to you before, I wasn't really looking forward to this fight because, not going to lie, I don't really like Sean Strickland. I don't like him as a fighter. I think he's a boring fighter. I don't think he's
effective, though. He's very effective.
He's so boring. Can't listen to his interviews. I think he's cringe. I think he's I'd be dropping every F-bomb, C-bomb in the book to get him because he's a horrible human being.
He's horrible.
He's a horrible man. And nothing would bring me as much pleasure as an Alex Pereira knee up the middle KO. It would bring me nothing better than that.
I hear you. I don't think that happens, though. I think Strickland used a combination of striking and takedowns to nullify Alex Pereira, and I think he gets the unanimous decision.
Do you know why I don't think he wins? Because in the Hermansson fight, he didn't really do much wrestling, and his striking was pretty like. Hermansson's not like a top level striker. He's a pretty much an all rounder, and I was expecting, if you're like close to a title shot, I'm expecting a big performance.
So am I.
And there was nothing there. It's like all that talk that he likes to do about he loves to spar people. I've seen his sparring videos harder than that fight against Hermansson. And that's why I'm like, yeah, come on, mate. You want a title shot because this is pretty much a number one contenders fight.
I don't know if it is a number one contenders fight because of what we just spoken about.
If one guy wins, I think it will.
So you've got this fight, you've got Rockhold and Costa, and who else have we got in the middleweight?
Vittori Whittaker in Paris.
Who's that? Sorry,
Vittori Whittaker in Paris.
I think Vittori and Whittaker, they're out of the question for a title shot. They both lost twice to Izzy.
Yeah,
I think the other two, the two stables. So you look at Rockhold versus Costa.
Can't wait for that fight, man.
Sorry, Till versus Hermansson, and then this fight, Pereira versus Strickland. I think whoever gets the best win out of these three fights will get the next title shot. I don't think this is a number one contenders fight. I think this is you guys are fighting back to back pretty much. Let's see who gets the best knockout. Let's see who gets the best submission. Let's see who has the best performance. Whoever gets it, I think, gets the winner of Izzy and Cannonier.
Or let's see who draws the most social media reaction. I do think Till needs to get back-to-back wins. I think he's 2 away from a title shot. I feel like Rockhold could potentially be 1 away, and I think Strickland is 1 away. I think Pereira is 1 away, but I think Till's 2 away at least. He needs to put back-to-back wins consecutively in that division. Something that I think he's failed to do that since jumping up to middleweight. So I think he's a little bit further off than the other 2 fights, but I do feel like the one that gives the best performance out of Costa Rockhold and Pereira Strickland possibly gets the title shot, and then the loser probably faces each other.
You're not factoring in the Izzy clout, though. So here's the thing. Izzy's getting to a point now where he can pick who he wants, bro.
Yeah.
Let's say Till goes out there and smashes Hermansson in the first round or 2, gets on the mic, you know what Till's like, gets on the mic, ramps up the crowd. Izzy, I'm coming for you next. I want you next. Izzy's going to say yes to that. That's the money fight in this division. Izzy versus Till.
Not Izzy versus Pereira?
No. For the hardcore MMA fans, that's the fight. And when we say numbers, you got to factor in the casuals. It's the casuals that bring in the main numbers.
Yeah, the pay-per-view
versus Izzy is the money fight in the middleweight division, unless it's Hamzat versus Izzy. Otherwise, it's Till versus Izzy.
Yeah, that fight's like 2 years away. Potentially. If that, but that depends. But yeah, again, there should be one fight for him that as much as I don't like the guy that wants it, Ali Abdelaziz, like F your friendship. Like this is for Usman. F your friendship
They ain't doing it.
for money, for legacy, and go and fight your mate Megash.
Well, let me ask you a question then, really quick. Let's say Cannonier does the unthinkable and beats Izzy. Do you think that fight gets made then? Usman versus Cannonier?
If Usman wanted it, then yes. I think so. But the thing is, if Izzy wanted the belt back, he'd have to fight him anyway. So, like...
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
well, but you could just vacate it. They could have a conversation. I don't see them fighting each other. I really don't.
For legacy, man. If you think about numbers, that does numbers.
No, it does. Just not till numbers.
About that. Like, you think about like back in Nigeria, 20 years' time, 100 mil in the bank.
Yeah.
Hey, remember when we tore it up on like main evented in Africa? Made a boatload of cash. And guess what? We're still friends.
No, I hear. I just don't think they do it though. I don't think they do the fight.
That's like,
and to be honest, stylistically, they are terrible matches for each other as well.
No, that's why it's so great.
It'd be a great fight, but they'll never do it.
Yeah. So I'm going Pereira knockout for Strickland versus Pereira.
I'm going Strickland unanimous decision.
I so hope you're wrong.
So do I. So do I.
I so hope you're wrong. So next fight, Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Sugar Show,
baby.
The Sugar Show.
Pedro Munoz, aka Prelim Pedro. It's not Prelim Pedro. He's main card Pedro.
He's the main man.
This is probably Sugar Sean's biggest test in the octagon so far.
Oh, he's definitely O'Malley's biggest test. 100%. He needs this. We need to see where he's at. And obviously, this back and forth he's had with DC, all the stuff he's been saying, he's got to now back it up. He's adding pressure to himself, which obviously the greats do.
Yeah,
you saw Conor add loads of pressure. He used to call the round and the finish. O'Malley has been very smart in how he's built himself up. Now he's stepping into the lion's den, though.
And when you get ranked, one way, that's up.
But I'm going to be real with you. I think he beats Munoz.
Yeah, I do. But there's one concern I have for him. If his eyes off the ball and he's focusing on his feud with DC, I've noticed quite a few fighters are picking on DC.
Yeah.
Some would say rightly so. I would agree rightly so. Sometimes he deserves a little bit of... But if his eyes are off the ball, we saw...
I'm biased to DC. So
I know you're biased to DC. If you saw versus Munoz versus Cruz, Munoz dropped Cruz with a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
I said he could have got him out. And Sean's like that.
Cruz said he remembers nothing of that first round.
Yeah. And so he's got the power there to finish him. Knocked out Cody Garbrandt as well. Was it Pedro? Yeah, knocked out Cody Garbrandt as well. So he's got the potential to derail the hype train. So he's definitely got the power. But I just feel like the skill level of Sean O'Malley, the footwork, will be too much. But I'll be so interested to see his ground game. Something that we have not seen yet in the UFC.
That's a very good point.
I've already
spoken about his ground game. He seems to believe it's similar to Izzy as well. They both are confident in their ground games. Like obviously, we've never seen it go.
Man is like black belt jiu-jitsu, good wrestler.
Yeah, which
is like it's also it's like amazing to see that because I've never seen it. So it's like, I'm like black belt jiu-jitsu. It's like, okay, well, hopefully at some point we get to see it because I'm interested to see if you can pull up a submission randomly from your back.
So, see with Munoz, what you said is right. He did rock Cruz. He did knock out Garbrandt. But what did those two situations have in common? No distance management control.
Yes,
O'Malley is a master at managing distance and firing down the middle with superb technique, clean technique.
Jab
I
down
think
the middle.
I do genuinely believe he's just going to beat Munoz. I think he's going to stop Munoz as well, which is a big shout. But I think he's got power in. I think he's just got that precision, and with that precision, as a great man once says, precision beats power, timing beats speed.
Yes.
And I think he's got that in abundance going into this fight.
Just having a look at the rankings quickly for bantamweight.
I think Munoz is like 10th or 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
Sugar Sean's 13th, I think. I think they got updated. I think Umar Nurmagomedov is. No.
Go on.
That is so. They knocked out Jack Shaw's ranked number 16.
For who? Umar
Nurmagomedov. But who's
that? Could be.
Yo, they
could be privileged.
There's another Nurmagomedov at bantamweight as well.
On the one I'm looking at, Jack Shaw's.
Hold on. That needs refreshing because that's incorrect.
Yeah, so I've got 15. No. Yeah, for Jack Shaw, 15 for Nurmagomedov and Jack Shaw 14.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad on another one. Got to look at the official UFC one, yeah. So Sugar Sean is ranked number 13. Pedro Munoz. So you're probably thinking if Sugar Sean O'Malley wins, he's probably taking ranking number 9. You're probably looking at maybe Song Yudong.
What, for his next fight if he wins?
His next fight? Or you
No, I disagree. I think it's Marlon Vera and Cruz. They're ready.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
You going the Sandman?
No, I was going to. I think it goes Rob Font next.
Oh my god. Oh, that'll be a beautiful fight to watch. The boxing on display. And yet again, the man got more pressure on himself because he said he wanted to fight Gervonta Davis after he became double champ as well.
Gervonta in boxing kills him.
Yeah, there's a reason an MMA fighter has not beaten a boxer unless your name's called Anderson Silva and knocked out a coked up Julian Chavez Jr.
Well, here's the thing. They're never going to make a fight where the boxer is on an even playing field or at a disadvantage. It just won't happen.
You got to have size, length, attributes, anything close to me. I'm just going to rip your whole head off.
You're a dead man. You're a dead man.
You're a dead man walking.
I don't. I mean, Fury seems like he's the only one who's kind of willing to meet halfway, but Mayweather had everything in his favor. And look, I get it. Boxers aren't stupid. They're not gonna go into the world of MMA and fight a top MMA fighter.
Yeah, that's why when Floyd was like, "I'll fight you in the," I was like, "No, you're not."
You won't. You would never do it. He wouldn't. Why would you? You've never felt a leg kick before.
Rematch in the octagon, and then we'll see if you're all talk.
He's never felt a leg kick. He's never had someone grab him by the leg and throw him to the floor, and he'd have his back mounted. Floyd wouldn't have a chance against Conor in an octagon.
Yeah, like that.
And this is today's Conor, not even that Conor back then that was double champ. This is today's Conor. Conor would absolutely eat him alive. It'd be ugly.
Smoked. And so you're going Sugar Sean KO?
Second round KO.
I'm going Sugar Sean KO as well. I don't think it will be a walk-off KO. Because Munoz.
No, I don't think. I think he'll have to stop him with strikes.
Yes, I think we'll do we'll see a ref just literally just dive, just going, no, too much punishment. And obviously, opener on the cards should have been Misha Tate versus Lauren Murphy, but Murphy pulled out.
Fight that would have been as well.
So that would have been a cracking fight as well. But that's been moved to Fight Island in July. Good thing it's not on this card because there would have been a nasty hot take from me and Cal. And we are both in agreement that Misha would have lost.
Yeah.
But guess what? She probably is still going to lose.
Yeah.
Because she's Mr. Beat.
Lawrence, no joke.
Yeah, and Lawrence, no joke either. But the opener, Robbie Lawlor. His tradition continues. Always fights on the main card. I think last time he fought on the prelims was 20 years ago.
Crazy.
And that would have been broken if the Murphy-Tate fight went ahead. But unfortunately, that fight fell through. So Robbie Lawlor versus Brian. You can say the last name, so I'll butcher it.
I think it's Barberena is pronounced.
Yeah, Barberena. It's going absolute. This is a fan-friendly fight. This is.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Robbie. Every good dog has its day.
Yeah, I think Robbie
that
likes
Nick
to get
Diaz
involved.
fight was very kind. The fact that Nick Diaz,
he wasn't the same. I still would call me cynical. I'd love to see a fully fit and motivated Diaz fight with Robbie. I think it's a very different fight because he was catching Robbie with a lot of shots and he wasn't even quick.
Yeah, I should have got the younger brother. She got Nate versus Robbie instead of Nick.
Yeah.
That would be the better fight. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a great fight. Rankings-wise, nothing in it. Robbie's not going to crack the top 15. And neither is Brian. I think both are in their mid-30s. I think Robbie's in his late 30s, early 40s. So as long as both fighters put in a great show, don't get hurt, then it'll be a great fight. I think either guy winning wouldn't get upset with either guy. It's not like I'm rooting for Robbie Lawlor because he's an icon.
Yeah.
But if he lost, then it's going to hurt, but it's not going to be the end of the world.
This could catapult Barberena though massively.
Yeah, if he finishes Robbie Lawlor, thinking, jeez, this guy can he have a last swan song? I need to check how old Barberena is because if I've completely just taken the piss out of him by saying he's in his mid-30s, then I'm going to look like an absolute melon. This was oh no, he's 29. No, he's 33. Okay, so maybe I am doing a little bit of a discredit. He's 17 and 8, and Robbie Lawler's 29 and 15. Yeah.
It depends which Robbie's coming though. Is he going to be the aggressive come forward fighter, or is he going to be a bit reclusive?
Yeah. It depends how much he's got left in the tank.
I think he's got plenty.
Yes, you still think he's going to have a few legends fights?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a few legends fight. You can get him versus Nate, him versus Tony, Ferguson versus Lawlor.
Do you reckon Ferguson goes up to 170?
I think he does.
I don't know. I think Ferguson's got to take some time away. And
yeah,
I'll be honest, I know Ferguson's last few fights have been poor. It's a shame though, but we never got to see the fight we deserved to see. And that was him versus Khabib. And I know MMA maths and hindsight where people would be like, Khabib would have ragdolled him. That version of Ferguson is different to the version we're seeing.
A whole another ball game.
And the version of Khabib at the time wasn't the version of Khabib when he finished his career either.
No.
It was a very even playing field, that match.
Such an even playing field. And then also on the prelims, just touching them quickly, bootleg Conor McGregor versus Gabe Green. Such cringy interviews, this guy. I know he's a fan, but fucking me. He's absolute dirt. It's dirt. He's fighting. He's got a nice little overhand right, and that's around this Ian Gary fella.
I like Ian Gary though.
Come back with a double champ of Cage Warriors. Then we can sit down and talk business. And until then, keep your name out of my mouth. No, but all jokes aside, I know you're Irish, but come on, your post matches are really cringe. They're not like McGregor, confident. They're cringe.
What's weird though, I think that the Irish fans will find that more endearing because I think a lot of them are fed up of the brassness of Conor. I think they do want probably someone a bit more humble now, and I think he's come along at the right time. If he obviously can continue winning, I do think he gets the fans.
Plus, he's going to be I think he's expecting a baby with his wife.
Either they're expecting or they've just had one recently. If they've just had one recently, then the sleepless nights could be a bit rough for him.
Or new dad power.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Donald Cerrone versus Jim Miller. Someone 16 is going to go. LOL. Someone's going to get 17 losses. Cowboy, I think he said he wants to get to 15, and then he's done. And this will be his 48th. So hopefully he ends his career on the high. He's got a couple more against Jim Miller.
Loads on's the next fight after this, regardless.
No, Dana said he's not booking that again. He said he's not booking it again. He's like, nope, we're not doing Khabib Ferguson versus this. We're not booking that one again. So
I think he will. I think that's Dana being emotional. I think he will. He loves Donald and he loves Joe, and they both asked for the fight. I think he'll book it.
I think Jim Miller beats Cowboy. It's the bright lights, and Cowboy tends to shrink in his shell.
Oh, I disagree. I think Cowboy's gonna beat him up.
I hope so, because I want him to he's probably one of those ones that you wish he won a belt of some kind, but in his prime, he's just fought RDA, didn't he? In his prime, yeah. That whole McGregor interview. Do you want to answer that, McNugget? It's like just too stiff and
I break you like a board.
I snap you in half. I'm like, look, now he's like, yeah, literally, everyone's snapping you in half now.
Yeah. Although he did beat Cowboy and he beat him very handily as well.
40 seconds, easy walk. You saw my fans watching. You saw a little guy in the waistcoat, a stupid tick. And you saw a guy in my knockoff Versace robe. Little Jorge fella. Little BMF belt. Because he can't win a proper belt. He can't win the gold. They need the silver. Little boom.
I think Conor fights. I think do you know what? I don't even know what Conor's going to do. He's not going to be this year. So.
Beginning of next year. First card of January.
Yeah.
Pay out my £20, 25 quid. I just hope I don't watch him get smoked. What a waste of money that was.
Yeah, I feel like we might.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone, that is the end of our preview for UFC 276. Massive thank you to Callum. Callum, let the lovely people know where to find you, my friend.
So on social media, you'll be able to find me at Callum Sanderson on all platforms. If you are into football, obviously Team Coppish with Matt and Drifty, and also the Sanderson Show, where Luke has been absolutely phenomenal in helping me watch along for 276, the big one. So join us there on the Sanderson Show as well, please.
Yeah, make sure I'll have both the links in the description for Sanderson Show and Coppish. So make sure you show Callum some love on Coppish and on Sanderson Show. And yeah, as Callum said, fight companion, 3 a.m. See if I can twist his arm for the prelims.
Do you know what's funny? You say that. I want to for this one.
Twist it. Hey, see. So
you might not even need to twist my arm. If I've got the time, I might do it because this one's looking tasty.
Yeah, this one's looking tasty. So if we don't do the prelims, we'll be there at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. Unless we let you know otherwise, 3 a.m. Sunday. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna try and do some more regular content.
Yes, same. It's hard though, isn't it?
Try. It's really difficult. I get home from work. Now I'm like, I just want to chill. But I've sort of been neglecting it. But I'm gonna try my best to do more content on the channel, and hopefully I'll be using StreamYard soon. So fingers crossed. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you all very, very soon.